Okay guys, so what I'm working on at the minute is some Shadespire Underworlds Nightfall Arcane Hazards is what they're called. I looked up the name of it this time. So I've just given it a quick prime. It's all assembled, ready to go. So I'm going to work on these three pyramids first and these two smaller pyramids. They're like kind of a bluey green colour, and the reason that I'm doing these first is I'm going to paint the frames afterwards as if the glow is inside and it's not emanating out. So I'm going to use the airbrush for that. I'm going to move stuff around, take out the paints I'm going to use, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I was going to go with kind of a green for a base, but looking at the picture, I think this might work okay. So I'm going to use Imperial Blue from Vallejo as the base coat for all of it. Then I'll mix in some Sotek Green and kind of put it in spots. I don't want it to be uniform, I want it to kind of look like there's a mist or something trapped inside it. So it'll be in different spots, it won't be just like a standard OSL job. And then Temple Guard Blue for a tiny bit of that mixed in here. But I'll see how I feel, I might just go with white into that. So, well, this is the closest thing I have to white on hand, is wolf grey. It's not full white, so I'll use that instead. So I'm going to have the compressor charged up, I'm going to put some of this in my cup, mix it up with some water and spray down the base coat, and then we'll come back. Okay guys, I set this up a little bit off camera, but as you can see, paint's still a little bit wet. I don't really know what to do, what's underneath, so I just kind of went with the same colour. I'll just do it a little bit dimmer underneath, as if the whole object has been captured as it's trying to leave the pool on the bottom. I don't actually know what it is, I don't know if it's a portal or what the story is. So that's kind of the plan that I'm going with. For this piece here, what's the best way of picking it up? Okay, so I don't want to mess it too much, there's a really small bit to grip on. So this one looks like it's two smaller ones that have been shattered. So what I'm going to do is start working the highlights up towards where the cracks are, focusing in them areas. And then for this stuff here, I'll use might use Sotek Green and then Moot Green, just to give it kind of a harsher look, as if it's hostile maybe. But what I'm going to do now is, well, that's still wet, there is a tiny bit of the Imperial Blue left in the bottom of the cup. You probably shouldn't do this, it's bad for your airbrush, but this is how I roll. I just give it a good clean every now and again. I'm going to get some Sotek Green, more Sotek Green than the Imperial Blue that's here, mix it in and then spray on some patterns and stuff into this, and then we'll come back again. Okay guys, so I have the Sotek Green down, so I'll pick this up first and show you. That's it there, kind of more so worked up towards, I actually missed that side. It's mixed up, well that's not good. That's not what you want to do, it's hard to do this behind the camera. So I just basically focused the first highlight on a broader area around where the cracks are, and then I can go in with the next highlight, which is I'm going to mix the Temple Guard Blue in with what's left of the Sotek. Again, not recommended, but I'm going to do that, and then I can edge highlight, or I can drop in a little bit of watered down paint into the cracks to really stand out. And then on these ones, it's a bit wet there, as you can kind of see. I just painted different kind of areas on it with the Sotek mix. You see it there on all of them. So that one there is kind of coming down and around. Now it's a little bit wet, so what I might do is let it dry for a few minutes before I go back in with the next coat. But it's kind of blending together the way I hoped it would, and then once that's done I can paint up the frame and stuff on it. But we'll be back once I get the Temple Guard Blue down. Okay guys, so I have added the Temple Guard Blue, sprayed it on, and I was painting something else for the Shadespire set, but it's in green. It's basically the same principle, but I'm using Warpstone Glow as the base. No, Caliban Green, and then I painted on Warpstone Glow just to get it to this point. And when I was doing that, I said why not just throw on the Warpstone Glow and Caliban Green mix onto this, and then I highlight that up with Moot Green. I'll do Warpstone Glow forest, then moot green, and see how I get on then. But you can see that the lighter colour is there on the cracks, and same on these. So it's a bit more evident now with the Temple Guard blue on. Now what I might do is just add a small bit of white into some Temple Guard blue, just to give it a final highlight in the toppermost points, and see how we get on from there. So that's where I'm at the minute. I'll throw on the Temple Guard blue and white, and then I'll throw another layer of warpstone onto the green bit, and we'll see where we're at then. Okay guys, so what I actually done instead was I just used straight up Temple Guard. I didn't bother mixing the white in with it, and this is kind of where I'm at now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply a blue wash over the panels where the glow is. That'll tone it down a bit, give it a flat colour, and kind of help blend it together. And then what I'm going to do is paint the base rim here black, paint the chain silver, and paint the frame black. And the only other thing that I done on this was I added a highlight layer of warpstone glow. That was it. So once I get the base coats down, I'll come back and show you where we're at. Okay guys, so I have base coated the black, I have put down the silver, and I'm going to throw a quick edge highlight onto the pyramid. I might just stipple on a bit of a dry brush onto this to make it look more like stone, just to differentiate between the two. I'll throw edge highlights onto the end of this here. All I have to do here is a moot green into like maybe the middle and some of the outer parts with the airbrush, and that'll be that finished. It's not too bad now. The only thing, sorry, that we have to do then is wash the metal black once it's dry, but I'm only after putting it on, so there's no point doing it yet because it'll just cause a mess. So I'll leave that dry for about an hour or so, then I'll throw the wash on it, and that'll be them done. So we'll come back and have a look at them when they're finished. Might actually help if I show you what I'm going to do. So Dark Reaper is my go-to colour for highlighting black, so I'll just throw a bit of that onto the white palette beside me. Sorry. Okay, I'm after putting that on my wet palette. I'm just going to get a little bit of water so it's nice and thin. And this here is what we're looking at. I probably have too much on the brush. I'm just going to wipe a bit of it off. Yeah, there was definitely too much on that there. And then just go one at a time, trying to be careful not to get metal anywhere there shouldn't be. I'm trying to do this from behind the camera, sorry. And just very, very light pressure, and draw the line up, and boom, edge highlight. And do it on this side then. Boom, edge highlight. And final piece. Boom. So I'll do all them and I'll come back and show you how I'm going to dry brush the bottom piece then. Okay guys, I just went in and added a small extra highlight of the Dark Reaper just on this raised area here, just to make it pop a little bit. So for that, same thing again, small amount of Dark Reaper, and just thinly, I'll try and get this in camera and see it at the same time. Okay, so just draw the line very carefully, just like that. It's very hard to paint, concentrate on painting and talk. And then for here, just slightly angled, making sure not to clip any of the blue that we airbrushed earlier. That's the highlight added on. I'll do the same on this one. Thin line, and then just the edge, drag it up. And if you go too far over, paint still be wet enough that you can actually just clip it off there at your finger like I just done. And try not to put it in the wrong spot altogether. Okay, and then the final piece, just like that Okay, that's definitely too much. So say you just wipe it off. And we'll go back on. And then, okay, I think I have a bristle just sticking out. Yeah. Okay, so now, as I was. So. Like that. Boom. Job done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stay on the camera and I'm going to show you how I'm going to stipple this stuff on. So my wet palette is just here. I'm just going to stick the lid on it. I'm going to use that as the palette for the dry brushing. So what I'm going to do is get my kitchen towel. I'm going to use a small dry brush. It's an Army Painter hobby dry brush. It's pretty battered up. I'm just going to get a bit of Dark Reaper out of the pot. Try to leave as much of it in the pot as we can. Okay. I'll just dab a bit of it onto the palette. And then I'll try and do it here, sorry. So that's probably okay for the first layer. So hold it like this and just carefully go around the edge like that. Get the little bit that I put in the palette, wipe it into the tissue, and boom, straight back at it. So I'm going to do this on all of them and then I'll come back. Okay guys, welcome back. I have that done. You can kind of pick it up there. You can pick it up a bit better on this piece either. So what I literally just done was a quick dry brush with the Dark Reaper, and you can see here on the tissue where I used the tissue obviously to take off the paint to the Dark Reaper. Now some of that will still be wet, so what I'm going to do next is I should have a medium. 1 second. Sorry, the tripod is in front of the drawer which has all my paints in it. So my go-to grey is Vallejo model colour blue grey pale. Works fine. Any kind of lighter grey, I think it's similar to Dawnstone. This one is. If I can get it to come out. Now I'm putting this onto the palette where the Dark Reaper was, so there's still a bit of that wet. I'm going to mix, like, just swishing the brush around in the spot where the two of them were, and then this bit here the Dark Reaper was. I'm going to wipe the excess off in it, because what will happen then is you will pick up some of the Dark Reaper and it'll kind of create a bit of a mid-tone colour. Just make sure I get as much of that off because it's a lot brighter than the Dark Reaper. So just on here, start dry brushing again. You can see the edge getting picked out on it now. Just give a quick scraping across here to highlight some of the letters. There you go, it's taking shape now. So that's the kind of effect we're looking for. And then if we go too bright, or if we want to darken it back down a bit, or just try and tie it together a bit better when we're giving the metal the black wash. So I use Army Painter, so for me it'll be dark tone. If you're using GW, it'll be Nuln Oil. You can just give the black a quick coat of Nuln Oil as well. But I'm pretty happy with how mine's after coming out there. So there you go. I'll do the rest of them and then we'll come back again. But before I come back, I am going to wash this and let it dry so you can see the finished product. Okay guys, so in the meantime when the wash is drying, I have base painted and dry brushed up the rocks on the rest of the terrain pieces just to match the glass chambers, I suppose we could call them. It's like they've captured something in a glass room, so I painted up the stone on that. I gave it 2 coats of the grey just so it's a little bit brighter, and the wash is just drying on them. So in the meantime I'm gonna paint the bone on this. I start off with Mornifying Brown as the base, and then use Shapty Bone and then give it a brown wash, and that'll be that. But I'll show you the steps for that I'm going to paint this big skull piece here and the little piece of jaw the same. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. And this here is, it's like the throne and the gash or something. This was literally base coated Caliban green, then I airbrushed on a 50-50 coat of Caliban green and Warpstone Glow, and then a full Warpstone Glow highlight around the top of this, in the middle here, and in the middle here. So the next highlight for this will be Moot Green in the middle, less than before, and onto the flame, and then I'll come back and show you the bone. Okay guys, so what I've done is I've base coated all of the skulls across this piece in the big Nagash skull. There's a bit of black paint there on top of it, don't worry about it. And I have base coated this with the Mornfang brown as well. So what I'm going to use first is it's Steel Legion Drab, and I thought I hadn't any of this left, but I do. It's Rock Art Flesh. I prefer this for bone than Ushabti bone because it just gives it a better finish, and then we can wash it back. So what I'll do first is I'll layer this onto like the limbs here and the skulls, and I'll dry brush it onto the big skull, and then I'll do the same with this Rock Art Flesh mixed in 50-50 with the Steel Legion Drab, and then that'll be that ready for a wash. And I have also finished the flames, so they've been added in with the Moot Green, so that's there. This got the Moot Green, so that's done, and the Nagash throne is also finished. Okay, so I'll get my two colours down as I said there a second ago, and then we'll come back and have a look. Okay guys, so everything is now finished. So the green is a lot darker than it actually is because I have the lights turned on. It's just right up there above the edge of the camera for the light box. I hit the button and it lightened up. I thought that was as bright as it would go, so it's a little bit brighter. So I sprayed some green into the bottom of that when I was doing the gash, just to make it look make it not just flat black. And you can see the bone then is all done, and the bone on this one, just looking at it there from that angle, what I might do is just paint solid brown into the eye holes and the nose socket, because that'll give it more depth, or I could just throw a wash in there. I didn't actually wash the whole thing because I was happy enough with how it turned out, so I'll just drop a small bit of wash into them 3 slots and that'll be them done. This bit is done. You've seen the gash, so this is him in stark green, stark green because of the light, and then the 3 glass chambers are all done up as well. And then the only other thing that leaves to look at is this, which is also finished. And that's it. So that's how I went about painting the Shadespire Arcane Hazards. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, a comment, and don't forget to subscribe.